Yeah, jumping into the last of the last. Okay, what do we have? So, okay. Now,
Daily Flicker, September the 11th, 1935. A.B.C. affair, Terminus Doncaster, Japp and Poirot arrest the killer. A.B. Cost is the name of the alphabet murderer. The police have arrested him in a hotel in Doncaster. He was preparing to kill his fourth victim, Mr. Dick Dudley Dunbar, the establishment's manager. Mr. Dunbar owes his life to the miraculous intervention of Inspector Japp of Scotland Yard and Detective Hercule Poirot.
yeah.
The Lancet, September 11th, 1935. General Medical Journal. The alphabet murderer is not psychotic, according to Professor Thompson. In an early issue, we claimed that the alphabet murderer was not psychotic. Our assertion has just been confirmed by Professor Thompson, a Scotland Yard expert, who has spoken to the prisoner at great length. Not all obsessional killers are psychotic, he explained. It is true that Cost has a disturbed personality and memory disorders. But his amnesia, whether real or pretended, does not alter the fact that he was perfectly lucid at the time of his acts. Therefore, he will not escape punishment.
Okay. Will not escape his punishment. So, what is our objective? Bring the revolver to Hastings. Now, where do I have my revolver?
The white ammunition are blank cartridges. The others are real bullets. The revolver is loaded with blanks. I still have time to choose real bullets. The revolver is loaded with real bullets. I still have time to choose blanks.
Let's take blanks.
The revolver is loaded with blanks. I still have time to choose real bullets.
No, I don't.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait one moment, I will bring you my weapon.
There you go.
Voila, I entrust you with my weapon. It has hardly been used, it is almost new.
Okay.
Chief Inspector, is that you?
Yes. Sorry, but we haven't found anything.
Have you checked the typewriter?
And the packaging, the letter, and the ribbon reel. We've only found prints left by Cust and his landlady.
Well, never mind, I shall make do.
So, are you still going to hold your meeting?
Of course, Chief Inspector. I can hear my guest coming up the stairs.
Why have you brought us here, Mr. Poirot?
Since Cust's arrest, I thought it was all done and dusted. Miss Gray formally identified him, as well as Miss Barnard.
Yes, and the stockings he saw drove the same brand as the ones found at my aunt's.
This is all true. However, a case is not closed if some questions remain open. And one question is, why did the murderer send me his letters? Why did he challenge me, Hercule Poirot?
Perhaps he wanted to play with you, to taunt you.
Xenophobia? Maybe he didn't like you because you're foreign.
I may be wrong, but maybe by provoking you he was looking for glory?
All these theories should be studied. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
All right. Okay. Why did the murderer make a mistake in this address? Well, he always wanted me well. Feasible. The letters delayed. Say that everyone caused the letter to be delivered. There we go. Why did the killer send his letter?
Is everything clear now?
You might like to explain your reasoning again.
Of course. First of all, remember that the murderer made it a rule to always post his letter before the murder. He never digressed from that rule. However, in Churston, he encountered a problem. The village has only 500 inhabitants. With advance warning, it would be easy to arrest him. Therefore, the murderer delayed his letters deliberately with the wrong address. The plan wouldn't have worked if he'd sent it to Scotland Yard or the papers because everybody knows their addresses. The mistake would have been corrected and the letter would have been on time. That is why the murderer chose me as the recipient.
Because for his plan to succeed, it was necessary for at least one of the letters to have a wrong address and get lost. It was very cunning.
Absolument. It is a very subtle plan. It matches the profile we have drawn up of him perfectly. That of an intelligent, daring and calculating murderer.
But that's not how you describe Cust.
You are quite right, mademoiselle. Like you, I find it hard to believe that this dull character is the clever murderer we are looking for.
Do madmen... I mean, if he's mad, he might have two very different sides.
No doubt. But the murderer is not mad. All the specialists agree that he does not have the profile of a psychopath.
But if Cust is not guilty, how do you explain his presence at the scene of the crimes?
Mr. Clark, the answer to your question is in the medical records of your brother's patients. Documents which Cust most certainly did not have access to. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
What do we know about Gust? Gust was in the war. Right, we know he was in the war. Okay, Cost was in war. Persons. Why doesn't that work? Okay, there's something wrong here. There we go. How to explain cost as the crime scene. Yes? Cost manipulated the killer.
Dr. Clark's patient's records provided a very useful list of potential victims, sorted by alphabetical order. The killer definitely used it, explaining the fact that all the victims were former patients of the doctor. It is this fact that clears Cost once and for all, because he never had access to these records. So how did he happen to be at the scene of the crimes? Either the murderer sent him there, or Cust was following him closely. Cust's highly suggestible nature leads us to the second hypothesis. The murderer was manipulating him. He systematically sent Cust to the towns where he was going to strike, so that the suspicion would land on the poor man's shoulder.
That's evil. What sort of killer could have such a plan? And what would he gain from 3 completely different murders?
Indeed, it seems unlikely that the same murderer committed all the crimes. What should we take from that?
No, that's just one murder. Say that the murder kills for pleasure. Say that the killer has developed a taste.
There is not one murderer, but 3 accomplices, who all used the same scenario.
Do you mean that 3 murderers with quite different aims joined forces to create a smoke screen? Here's another question. Is it still necessary to find a motive for each crime? And the one in Andover poses problem. Why was poor Mrs. Asher killed?
Indeed. It would be best to forget the theory. Just one murder was of benefit to the murderer. The others were just diversions. On reflection, there is only one conclusion. The murderer killed once out of interest, and twice to divert our attention. This reasoning points at 2 potential culprits.
Franklin Clark.
Donald Fraser?
Yes, mademoiselle. That's good thinking. Mr. Fraser may have killed Betty out of jealousy. Mr. Clark may have killed his brother in order to inherit his large fortune. Both have a motive.
But Donald did not have access to Dr. Clark's records.
Please allow me to disagree with you, mademoiselle. He works for Court and Brunskill, one of whose clients was Sir Carmichael.
It doesn't prove that I went to Comeside.
You could have done it, and you may have used the opportunity to take a look at Sir Carmichael's records.
You think I'm guilty?
You or Mr. Franklin Clark?
That's ridiculous.
Both of you have a motive. The question is, which of you has the profile that most resembles the murderer?
Okay.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
It's done and clever. Yeah. Clever. Done with self-confidence. Easy to influence. Is he a seducer? He certainly likes trains. It was... okay. Quick-tempered. Generous. Okay, so he has 2 faults.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donald may share many character traits with the murderer, but he does not have his cold indifference. He has a temper. It is hard to imagine him planning anything. Also, jealousy is his motive, and crimes of passion are rarely planned.
Right, I suppose it's my turn to be subjected to the same scrutiny.
Absolument, Mr. Clark. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Yeah, all the missing. Is Franklin clever? Clever. Is he self-confidence? Oh, that wasn't it. Self-confidence. Because he's a seducer. Oh. This one, perhaps? No. No. Oh, that. Nice trains. Is he cold? Oh, that's not it. Cold. Is it generous? Yes, generous.
As you have all seen, there is a disturbing similarity between Mr. Clark's profile and that of the killer. In actual fact, it is exactly the same.
Mr. Poirot, your psychological studies are interesting, but your conclusions do not add up. Why would I have wished my brother's death? The inheritance is lawfully mine. I just have to wait.
No, you had to act quickly. Because of Miss Grey. Mademoiselle, although you haven't been telling the truth, there is no doubt in my mind that you would have found a way to marry Sir Carmichael after Lady Clark's death. For you, Mr. Clark, it was a disaster. If Miss Grey had children by your brother, you would not have inherited a thing. You realized the danger after reading several letters from Comside, especially one in which your brother opened his heart to you. So you hurried home from China, and you took action. In truth, Cust was no more than a puppet manipulated by the real culprit. You, Mr. Clark.
Such an imagination, Mr. Poirot. In fact, nobody manipulated Cust. The famous instructions he received by post. He wrote them on the typewriter. We know that for sure.
Oh no. You know perfectly well. That is not true. Eh bien voilà, Light has now been shed on the A.B.C. murders.
Your theories are ingenious, but you haven't any proof.
One point to him. For the moment, I have no material proof. Either I admit to it, or I bluff. One thing proves it. The prints you left on Cust's typewriter.
Enough.
Oh, of course you wiped the typewriter before sending it. But not carefully enough. Scotland Yard has found your print along with those of Cust.
I understand why you never wanted to lend me your new typewriter. And why you were searching through your brother's things. And the hole you dug on the moors. What did you hide there? The knife you used to kill your brother?
Game, set, match. You win, Mr. Poirot. But it was worth trying. Don't come near me! I'll never let you take me, Mr. Poirot.
Well, dead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Clark, there is no easy death for you. I expected your reaction, so I used blanks. I'm sorry, mademoiselle, but your second chance has been lost. Franklin Clark will never inherit his brother's fortune.
Disappointed at having missed the chance to become Lady Clark, Thora Grey left England. Donald Fraser and Megan Barnard married. On Poirot's recommendation, Mary Drower started to work for Lady Clark. The elderly lady's condition suddenly took a turn for the better. And a few months later, to Dr. Logan's great surprise, she was back on her feet again. According to this eminent physician, it appears to be an extremely rare case of spontaneous remission. Lady Clark has enjoyed very good health ever since. Journal of an Innocent. The incredible story of A.B.C. As for A.B. Cust, after being advised by Poirot, he made a great deal of money by selling his story to the press. And as for me, and with business booming, the Black Swan has become the #1 tourist attraction in the whole of Yorkshire, even more popular than York Minster.
Okay. That was longer than expected. It was a great story, no doubt about that. And it was, of course, also written by Agatha Christie, so one of this century's last century, one of the best crime writers, that made a lot of movies with Hercule Poirot. So, great game. Can't complain about that. Yeah. What else is there to say? I'm sorry I had to go the last 20 minutes, but I had food waiting for me, so I had to eat. That's so simple as that. I hope you like the new sound setup. I tried to make it better, and Yeah. Was there anything bad about the game? No, not really. Well, I can always find something to complain about, but most likely it is the pronunciation of Hercule. They did not quite get the name right, but well, such as this. We finished, or are we finished? God damn it, man. There's actually been a lot on this game. Trying to... Oh, sorry. Lost the line of thought. There has been a lot behind this game, actually, compared to the size of it and the price of it. It wasn't an expensive game. I think it was €3 or something. So there was a good around 6 hours in it. That is a decent adventure game. Wasn't hard either. There was some bugs. One bug we solved after some trying. Not that bad. Not that bad at all. Could be way worse, at least. But of course, adventure games are hard to screw up, so to speak, because they are just adventure games. It's not hard to make an adventure game, so to speak. Well, you can always make a bad story, but again, the story is made at Agatha Christie, so there is nothing really anything to say about that. I wonder... Okay. Bonus. Let's see what we have there. Okay, we got a large one. We got some achievement lost, I can see. Next one, Sheriff Mustache, Daily Mustache. I have probably lost some. Black Dragon, Dragon Smoke. Okay. Cleaning Tomcat. Okay. Feels eyes. Well, yeah. Constructions doesn't matter. Timeline. So this timeline, I suppose it is how he did it, I guess. So if you want to know about the timelines here, I suggest play the game yourself. Yeah, don't think there's any need for me to go. Is there? We can try and
When Franklin understands that his brother's inheritance is going to be stolen from...
okay, we got it. Yeah, that's me for today. Thank you for watching, and sorry about that abrupt pause. Thank you for watching, and you can always watch on YouTube at Outlet10, and you can follow me on Twitter at Outlet10. Yeah, that's me for today. Thank you for watching and see you tomorrow.